Thank you, Pastor Bob Fu, for inviting me to participate in the 5th Annual China Human Rights Lawyers' Day. I've been a member of Congress for 41 years, and I know that Bob Fu is one of the most effective, dedicated, wise, and effective champions of human rights I have ever met. So thank you, Bob. As all of you know, to be a human rights lawyer in China today means risking your professional credentials, your freedom, and even your life in defending the defenseless. Sometimes I do wonder, when the history of modern China is written, will it record only the names of the tyrants and the torturers, or will it remember those who stood against tyranny? There are many great advocates we could name today, but I'd like to just focus on one, Gao Zhizhang. Gao Zhizhang has said, "You cannot be a rights lawyer in China without becoming a rights case yourself." Through his absence today, his whereabouts unknown even to his family, we know about the cruelty of enforced disappearances of lawyers and human rights advocates. His story is particularly compelling to me because in 2012, I invited his wife, Gang He, to testify at a China Commission hearing that I chaired, and she told us how he was brutally tortured. She said, in September 2007, authorities disappeared Xinjiang and held him for over 50 days after he wrote an open letter to the U.S. Congress exposing human rights abuses in China. Policemen covered his head with a black mask and took him into a room where they stripped him naked and beat him. They used electric batons to shock him all over his body. Sadly, that abuse continues, we believe, to this day. In December of 2013, his daughter, Grace, bravely testified before my Human Rights Subcommittee about her father, Gao Zhizhang, and Grace told us of the heartbreaking story about how her family was constantly surveilled and harassed by the police. They used to follow her and her younger brother to school until one day they said she could no longer go to school anymore. With her mother, Grace, and her brother, they fled, eventually resettling in the United States. Consumed, however, with deep concern and deep love for her father, she, like her mother and brother, suffered great emotional pain. And yet she found it within herself the strength to become an advocate. Her father, as we all know, is one of the best and bravest of China, and now his fate is unknown. What lawyers like Gao Zhizhang stand for is nothing less than the rule of law for everyone, particularly those persecuted, harassed, or aggrieved by the Chinese Communist Party. To the Chinese Communist Party, that is a dangerous idea. It means that they should be accountable to the people, to the hundreds of millions of people, in fact, seeking redress for persecution and CCP corruption. And thus they persecute, torture, and kill, and wage war against the defenders of the defenseless. Rather than being a sign of strength, however, persecution is a sign of profound weakness and a lack of confidence by the Chinese Communist Party. While we empathize with Grace along with her mom and her brother, we also remember her father's cause, and we remember his name, so that one day, when the history of modern China is written, it will record that Gao Zhizhang, like many other brave lawyers and defenders of human rights, bravely stood against tyranny. We look forward to that day when the tyranny of rule by law is replaced with the justice of the rule of law. I thank you, and may God bless each and every one of you.